Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, hi, my name is Carrington, not your first time here, welcome back. If you enjoy anything book or makeup related, this is definitely the channel for you, so I would absolutely love it if you guys would subscribe, click the little bell to be notified of all my future uploads. Don't forget, if you enjoy this video, to make sure you guys give this a thumbs up, and let's go ahead and let's dive on into today's video, which is we're just going to create just like a fun fall look. I am so excited for fall time. It is my favorite color story season. Color story, yes, like the seasons that have like the best color story for me is fall. Summer and spring are like those really bright pops of colors, or a little bit more bronze, but I feel like fall and winter are more of those cool tones, which is what I love. Plus fall also has like grungy greens, and then we've got Halloween, all the fun things. I know that if you're not in America, that it's definitely spring there, which is so wild to me because I feel like Halloween and fall should just go together, but I know that that's not always the case. But if you guys are excited to see what look we create, what products I use, then definitely keep on watching. Starting off right off the bat, I don't care if it's spring, summer, fall, winter, we're just SPF all year round. I wear SPF every single day. I really like this one from e.l.f. This is the Whoa Glow 30 Broad Spectrum SPF 30 Sunscreen. It's a makeup protection and a makeup primer. I love to go ahead and just like put this on before I do really anything else. I like to get it really good and warmed up, and then just apply it liberally all over the face and down the neck. And then I also do SPF in my moisturizer. After I wash my face, I put on SPF, an SPF moisturizer, and then I do SPF. And then sometimes if I am not doing my makeup right after I do my morning skincare, I'll go ahead and put on some more like a makeup priming SPF. I love doing that. Then I like to do my eyes first because my eyes are definitely really hooded and droopy and deep set, and so for me personally, I like to do my eyes first so that way I can just clean up anything. It's super easy for me. Do this in whatever order that you like. So I'm just going to go ahead and start off with priming my eyelids. So I'm just going to start with the Jaclyn Cosmetics. I don't even know what it's called anymore because all of it has been rubbed off. So that's where we are. It's fine. And then I'm just going to take my mirror and I'm just going to apply this all over my eyelid. Okay, I don't know how many people know this, or maybe don't know this, because I did not know this for the longest time. Disclaimer, I had no idea for the longest time. But whenever you put on an eye primer, you don't want to set it, and whenever you're like placing it down, you want to like take a brush and just like tap it out, because that's what helps activate the eye primer. I had no idea. I literally heard somebody talking about it, and then I went on a dive quest. So yes, if you didn't know that, now you do. I can't remember where I'd heard this from, or I would give credit to the person who had said it, but this was like a while ago. So I'm not really 100% for sure, truthfully. Okay, so then you just don't set it at all. You're just gonna leave that there. So for today's look, I wanted to use some like fall palettes that I had recommended in my previous best palettes for fall. I will link that video down below. But I want to go ahead and I want to start off with the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. This is absolutely perfect for fall. It gives you like those sunset vibes, which you know, in fall it starts getting darker earlier. So you see the sunset a lot more, and then you definitely have like really like sunset colors, but I think that they're just so perfect for fall as well. So we're going to be using this for the mattes, and then I'm going to be pulling in two palettes. One was in that fall palette, which is going to be Glam, the Nocturnal, because I want to go into this shade right here called Dusk on my outer middle portion, and then I want to go in with Luna, which is going to be on my middle inner portion of my eye to give it something a little bit more purple. So let's go ahead, let's get started with that. So I'm just going to take the Natasha Denona palette, and I'm going to start off with I'm going to start off with this shade right here, which is called Sinai. I'm just going to take a little bit on a brush, just taking like the smallest amount. I like to start with a small amount. And then I'm just going to take it on the outer portion, and then I'm just going to start stamping it into place for my transition, and then we'll go ahead and just start blending out. And I may decide to change my mind. You know, you never know as to what colors I'm going to do on my lid for shimmer, but I really kind of wanted to go purple since my shirt is really purpley. But it could change. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, but that's just what I do. So I just work on stamping and then blending, and then if you need to go back in, you absolutely can. Because remember, you can always add. You cannot take away without having to start over. And nobody has fun with that. Moving right on along, we're going to move on into this next shade called Terra. Wow, I cannot talk today. I don't know what happened. It was going great, and then it wasn't. That's what happened. And again, I'm going to start on the outer portion and then kind of just stamp my way into my crease area, and then just continue to blend. And you'll just marry those other two colors together. Just think it's so pretty. And you will I have to take a lot of time blending to get the seamlessness that I want. So a lot of times, I'll be here for a minute, just blending. Stamping and blending. It would probably help if I put like a lot more product on my brushes, but I don't want there to be too much. So we're just gonna go slow. Slow and steady wins the race, right? That's what I think too, sometimes. Just sometimes. For my outer corner, I'm gonna go into this shade right here called Volcano. And again, we're just going to, if I have my brush angled correctly, just take a little bit. And I just want to focus this just on the outer portion of my eye. So the very, very outer part, I like to just close my eye and just start stamping it into place where I want it. Just like so. Okay, so I played around with some of the colors, and clearly I did not go with purple. I just wanted to see what I thought would go best. So I played around with some different shades, and I'm going to now share what I did. So first of all, I always start with glitter priming my eyelids, okay? So I start with NYX glitter glue. Use whatever glitter primer you like. And again, I just like tap it on to help make it the most sticky, because again, tapping for whatever reason activates these the best. So I took a little bit of that. I did not go into anything in the Glaminatrix palette. I instead started off with this shade right here called Cora in the Adept Minka palette. And I just take a little bit on my finger. And then I just go ahead and just tap that all over the eyelid. This is so pretty. But at the same time, I just feel like this is too green. Like, it's just a little too green. Then I went into this shade right here called Layla, which is like this like champagne gold. And then I just kind of tapped that right over the greenish part. So it kind of mutes it down some, but we still get a little bit of that pop of green, and I am obsessed with it. I think this goes perfectly. From here, you can do anything, liner lashes, and then if you need to fix up anything with like your eyeshadow, if you need to add more product, if you need to blend something out, if you need to reinforce a color, whatever the case may be, now would be the time to go ahead and do that before you clean that up. Before I start working on all of that stuff though, I do like to go ahead and start priming the face so it has plenty of time to set on my skin. So I'm going to start off with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. This is such a good primer. I have went through quite a few of these, and I will probably continue to do so. And I just like to take it in my T-zone area only. I do like to start with this. I sometimes find whenever I put like my pore filling primers in my pore area first before any other primer, I feel like it helps blur my pores a little bit more than going over it after I've put like something glowy or hydrating on. So I like to just go ahead and start and then just kind of stipple that in and then just leave it set for maybe like 30 or 60 seconds. Because then once I have let that set, I will go in. I like to do a lot of like glowy or hydrating products because my skin is super dry. Of course, I know it's fall time, so a lot of people like those more matte type looks. If your skin type is able to handle that, absolutely go for it. So then I like to, as I've waited for that to set, go in with this Freck Rich Bitch face. This is interesting because it comes out looking like it's gonna be a moisturizer, and then you just kind of put some on your face, and then it just kind of turns into like a really hydrating oil. But the thing I really love about this though is that it's not like an oil, if that makes sense. Like, it feels really slick, really hydrating. Like I just put on like a really thick moisturizer, and it kind of just has like that, like it would have the consistency of an oil. But if you ever put an oil on your face, it can be like really heavy, it can be really slippy. This does not. It just feels really hydrating, and it sinks so well into the skin, much better than a lot of oils, which a lot of times it'll sink in, but it can also set as well. I love that product. It is so good. So now from here, while I'm just kind of letting those products set and work together, I'm going to go ahead, finish off my eyes, liner, lashes, mascara, the works. Now that we've got the liner, lashes, and all of that going, I'm going to go ahead and then start popping off with my base again. And I'm going to go into this Maybelline 4-in-1 Perfector Glow Makeup. I love this stuff so much. It just adds the best glow underneath makeup. Even though I'm already glowing, sometimes hoeing, for sure showing. I just love adding a little bit of extraness. And then I like just taking a foundation type brush and just stippling it in. I don't want to get any brush marks, but I also don't want to take away any of the glow with like a sponge. So I just like to just stipple this in, and I really focus this more on like the outer. I don't really want to bring it in here quite so much, just because that's where I have a lot of pores, texture, and this can really emphasize that. So, you know, it's just nice. So I know that there's a lot of people that are really into the matte for fall. I'm still going to 1000% say matte is not my thing. So I'm going to be using this Beauty Blender Bounce Skin Tint, Always On Radiant Skin Tint. This is really good. I personally enjoy it a lot. Oh, there we go. I finally got a good dab. So I put some on the back of my hand. I'm going to take my sponge. I'm just going to pick up. I just almost knocked over. And I'm going to start stippling this around my face with a sponge. And just work it through all around. When I don't have a lot of product left on the sponge, I'll take it in my center, because again, that's where I've got a lot of pores, a lot of texture, and a lot of dryness as well. So I'm just going to take that, and then I'll take what's left on the back, and I'm just going to go ahead and start working this onto the forehead, and then take whatever little bit I have left to make sure that everything is covered up along my nose line, and then just go over anything I feel like I need to. Now I'm going to go into concealer. I'm going to use this from Huda Beauty. This is the Faux Filter Concealer. I really like this, and I love how their lightest shade is almost like a white, because my skin is so pale that this is like one of the few things that really will brighten up my under eyes, because it's just such a good color. So I'm just going to put a little bit. I don't need a ton of concealer on my face. I feel like the skin tint provided pretty good coverage. Again, I'm not a huge full coverage kind of a person, but if you are, absolutely use that. I'm just not. And I'm just going to take my sponge and start stippling it out, and then get it all up in the crevice as well. Make sure you take away those dark circles. And do the same thing on the other side. I usually start pressing it outwards and then bring whatever's left up into the corners, so that way a lot of it's not collecting in the corners. but that's just what we're gonna do. And then we're gonna move on into the bronzing, contouring-ish of the face. I personally, my skin tone is so cool, so I usually like to go in with something that's super cool. So I have this from Huda. I'm almost done with it. I've been almost done with it for a long time, but I'm getting closer. This is the Huda Contour Bronze Cream. I feel like this is a really good neutral, especially for my skin tone where it's not too cool, that it's almost like way too contour-ish, and it's not too warm either. So I just take a little bit and I just stamp a little bit on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to start far back on my face and just start stippling it in and focus on going back as needed. It's really pretty color. Again, it's just like a good neutral brown. And sometimes that's what you need. Get some on the brush part that picked up a little. And then you just do this on both sides of your face. Just make sure that you're focusing the good bulk of like the color towards the back of your face, because you want to leave your center a little bit more, you know, open instead of closed off. And then I'll just take a little bit more, and then for my forehead I'm gonna stamp it around, and then along like my temple here I'll just start to kind of close that off just a little bit. But just basically, and then build this up to any desired color that you want. You can have it more, you can have less, whatever your desired color is that you would like, or how much product you want, or how dark you want it to appear. Add, take away, whatever it is versus what I have. But this is what I have so far, and I think this is perfect. While we are at where we are at, I'm gonna go ahead and just start with my brow gel. I like to just already just have this ready to go in my brows, so it's got plenty of time to set them in the shape that I want before I go in and fill them in. And this is the Benefit. It's the new one. It's not like their normal 24-hour brow fluff up brow wax. Get it together, Carrington. Wow. This is a normal for me as well. So let's just go ahead and just fluff everything up where I want it, because you know you can't have a product that says fluff and not fluff your brows. And then just kind of shape out how you would like for it to go. And then I'm just going to leave that there. I'm going to leave that well enough alone. And then we're going to go into blush. This is the part where I think I have struggled with the most today, besides the shimmers, because I was going to go in with something that was like a little bit more berry, but that's because I was going to have more purple on the eyes. And now I'm like, I don't really know if I want to do something more berry. I think instead I want to go into this Jaclyn Cosmetics. This is Plush Coral. I think this will be a good match, hopefully, for what we've got going on the eyes. You know, just like a little nice like pink. Just dab that on the cheeks. These are pigmented. I just want y'all to be aware. These are pigmented, so be prepared. You don't need as much as you might think you do. And then I'm just going to take the backside of my sponge where I did not use for the foundation and concealer, and just really start to just stipple that out on each side however you want to place your blush. I like to do a little bit more of like a blush draping, and then bring the rest onto the apple of my cheek, whatever I have left, just like so. I'm just going to go right out into the lower lash line. I'm just going to start with those shades that we have already used. So this first shade is going to be Sinai, and I just want to smoke that on the lower lash line, and I'm just going to start with like stamping it on, and then slowly just like smoking it out. Same as kind of like what we did on the top as well. You know, it all coincides, it all goes well together. And then we'll go into, what is it called? Terra? That was close. It's a T instead of a V. And then I'm just gonna hug it close to the lash line, much closer than the other. And then the last one that we'll go into is going to be that darker brown shade, which is Volcano. Just going to smoke that, like the very outer portion. Let's give it some depth. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and do my waterline. These from Nabla are fantastic. That's all there is to say. That's all I can say. It's just how fantastic these are. They're just so rich and pigmented. Like, Nabla knocked it out of the park with these. And they stay really well. Like, that's just another thing. They stay really, really well. Those Nabla ones, oh, yes. So then I'm going to go on into, for my inner corner, I think I want to go in with, let's try the shade Minka. I don't know if these are going to be too chunky to try to put on the inner corner. If they are, we can try a different palette with, or a highlighter even. I don't even know if I can get anything picked up with this. I'm trying. Maybe I got a little bit. You really have to dig in there, so I'm hoping it doesn't like fall all over my face or anything. So we'll see. We'll see how this is gonna go. Yeah. Yeah, it does. You definitely have to dig into it to get it. But it works. It does work. Now my eyebrows are done, and if you guys are like, something seems a little different, that's because I was like, I think I want my blush to be a little bit more orange. Just a dash. Like, I didn't want it to be like orange. So I just added a little bit of the cream blush from Fenty and Fuego Flush. I just added just like a little bit to the already pink there, and I feel like this is just like the perfect color. So now the brows are done, I'm gonna go ahead and we're just gonna do a little bit of highlighter. This is from Essence. It's called the highlighter. Listen, I love this highlighter. I think this highlighter is so good. I don't know why, but I have been using this nonstop, and I like to just kind of start at the front of my cheeks and then just kind of bring it back. Same on the other side. The nose, the tip of the nose. I know some people are very flustered about people who do the tip of their nose. Like, listen, I just like it. And then whatever's left, I just kind of put in the middle of my forehead, just to add a little bit of a really nice little glow. Go back over anything in case I need to, like, you know, make sure it's really good, blend it out now that there's not a lot left on the product. So then that is going to be one last thing that I have to do, and that's going to be lips. I don't even use like a ton of setting spray either. This is the Dirty Pumpkin from Give Me Glow. It is a lip set. So you will get a lip liner, a liquid lipstick, and a gloss. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start off right off the bat with just going ahead and lining my lips. I think this is going to be the perfect color for this look. Perfect for fall, really. So then I'm going to try with just the gloss first and see how I like that. Or I can always add the matte if need be. But I really like their glosses because they are a really pigmented gloss. And this is the completed and final fall makeup look using just some products that I've had in my collection. Nothing here is new, but I am obsessed with how it turned out. It's definitely really nice, really orange, but it's like an orangish brown, which I just absolutely love. It's perfect for fall. Let me know what you guys think down below of the fall makeup look. What is your favorite season for makeup looks? I hope that you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys have given this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, click the little bell if you guys would like to be notified of all my future uploads. Or if you don't want to be notified of my future uploads, that's fine. You still just want to join the dumpster fire, then make sure you guys have subscribed. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye!